So equity shares is primarily a common stock of the company. They basically represent the ownership percentage of the company. These equity shareholders are owners of the company, and it also provides the shareholders with company's profit. Now, equity shares basic nature, since this is a base share, so its basic nature is also transferable, and it is exchangeable. The Companies Act provides for share transfer. Various kinds of compliances are also there. Uh, Equity shareholders, they have a right to hold meetings. They can in fact vote on the meetings. The voting rights on the other part of the shares are comparatively less as compared to the equity shares. Now, the equity shares comes with the right to receive dividends as well. I mean, dividend is also part of CCPS, but the company, when it declares equity dividend, then the equity shares are they have the right to receive dividend. And the equity shares can also be issued with different rights, say different rights per se, voting rights or dividend rights or any other rights. Now, the companies, they have the right here, so that they can issue shares with differential rights, which becomes really handy in terms of bringing in investments from the global investors. In terms of liquidation also, equity shares, they are comparatively, since they are the owners of the company, now they are treated comparatively at the last stage to distribute the assets as compared to the other shareholders, basically the CCPS or the debentures, the debt holders. So these were the free sub equity shares, points on equity shares. Now CCPS, the nature of CCPS is different, and it's a bit preferable. Considering the global investments and investors' point of view, CCPS is really preferable kind of securities that the investors want to hold. Now, the rights in terms of in terms of CCPS, is that they give a preferential right to the investors, to the shareholders, basically. Now, the right to receive dividend in terms of equity shares was predominantly when the company declares it. But in terms of CCPS, they have a right that they will receive a dividend. A certain percentage of dividend is decided at the time of the initial stage, and the companies has to give dividend, outstanding dividend accordingly. Now, in preference to the equity shares, CCPS holders, they have advanced access to the assets of the company. Basically, this works well in terms of liquidation, where they are preferred ahead of equity shareholders. Now, moving forward, we have
just to point few stuff over here. We found that CCPS is again very much preferred by global investors, simply because they get a preference over in terms of liquidation, in terms of specific voting issues over equity related things. So if you see the Memorandum of Association and Article of Association Rules of Companies Act, a private limited company can have several sort of regulation in terms of voting rights and quorum and all things for private limited entities. Now, for CCPS holders, they get various benefits when they invest in terms of this, because they can modify the Article of Association in this regard. Plus, they get a preference in terms of several activities. And once they reach to a point when they are supposed to get exit, they convert immediately at a discounted rate into equity and then apply for exit, right? So yes, Iti, you can go on.
Yeah. So as Shomik said, it can be converted at a later stage into equity as well, which will obviously give ownership rights to the shareholders at a later date, or as and when the investors want to convert. Now, preference shareholders, they cannot receive they cannot receive bonus shares against their holding. However, if the agreement permits, or if it is specifically mentioned that preference shareholders will have an access to the bonus shares, other companies will have to abide by that. This creates a good impact on the investors to bring in funds, taking or subscribing shares via CCPS only. Convertible notes. So convertible note, now these days, the investors who do not want to have the equity ownership in the company, they tend to invest via convertible notes or via convertible loans. This, from the compliance aspect in India, convertible note is fairly a bit easier for the global investors to put in their funds in the company, since there is quite a lot and an ease of infusing funds in the company. The key points or the key facts for convertible notes is, the share valuation is not required. Now, for infusing funds in the company via CCPS or via equity, share valuation is the prima facie or the primary aspect that the company has to do, which is a costly affair as well. Now, share valuation is not required in this. There is no control, or there is no voting power involved in convertible notes. So fairly, it's just infusing funds in the company, and then the investor receives a fixed percentage of interest, or the conversion interest, whatever cumulative conversion interest, whatever whatever the matters decided between the company and the investors. The
One
company.
big point over here, because many of the entrepreneurs have asked this pertinent question: if they raise money to save, then what should be the best way of? Because there is no regulation in India for safe notes. Uh, Note become a very preferred model for investment, and this was probably a reason through which the safe investment has taken place. For any safe investment, either from Singapore or from US or for that matter, any other region, you must consider two options: either convertible note, and in case you are investing at a lesser amount or you do not want to convert it, then CCPS can be one of the options. So for safe notes, usually they prefer convertible note or CCPS as an option.
The next point, taking from Shomik, the next pointer is to have a threshold limit of nearly 25 lakhs. So, a company issuing convertible notes in a single tranche, they have to have a minimum 20 lakhs. They have to issue convertible notes for a minimum value of 25 lakhs, and the basic investment period of this such convertible note should be a period of 5 years. Now, convertible note is actually, it provides the investors with various favorable options. Say the floor valuation, so they can have a predetermined floor valuation, that at this valuation the company is going to, if the company or the conversion of note is going to happen at this valuation, or at a discounted share price, what the company and the investors decide. They can have a valuation cap as well, reaching which the company will have to convert the convertible note to the investors with along with the interest.
One key
So
aspect that it is mentioning, which should be very much ingrained by the viewers, is that this is a minimum investment of 25 lakhs. So, in case you are taking money uh, less than 25 lakhs, you cannot take a convertible loan. Point one. Point two also, this aspect has to be done this conversion has to be done within a period of 5 years. You cannot stretch it. Also, you have to be a registered startup or an MSME to take convertible note.
Is the aspects of debentures. So debentures, as it says, is a debt security, and it should be repayable with principal amount and interest as and when the debenture periods has been decided. Now, debentures, just as same as the preference shares, debentures basically, if issued of a convertible nature, now it should be converted to equity shares. Now, minimum period for conversion of debentures is 10 years, and so from the date of its issue, it should be converted within a period of 10 years. Now going back to the CCPS, the minimum period for CCPS conversion is 20 years, and here the
So I think
CCPS.
you have. I mean, it's not minimum; it's maximum. I mean, within maximum.
Sorry, maximum. Sorry, yeah. So the maximum period is it 20 years, and for CCDs, the maximum period for conversion is 10 years. Now, debentures, they have a peculiar nature. Now they can be hybrid securities as well. So I mean, it's not mandatory that if debentures are issued, they have to be converted or they have to be redeemed at a future date. So debentures, now the companies also have a flexibility and options to issue optionally convertible debentures, now which can be fully convertible or partly convertible. It is completely in the hands of the investors, since the nature is only optionally convertible debentures, and then there are compulsory convertible debentures as well. Debentures may be issued as a secured debentures or unsecured debentures as well. Now, if secured debentures are issued, then a charge has to be created against the assets of the company, so that the debentures are basically, the nature of secured is in place for the investors. And if unsecured, then no charge has to be created in the assets of the company. As
Yeah, I think ET has correctly mentioned, and just to put perspective over here, these are in usual investment circuit. These are compulsory convertible. They do not issue usually option convertible. They do not issue plain vanilla debentures. They make sure that the compulsory it has to be converted. In our experience of working with various international VCs, they prefer this. And again, venture capital and larger venture capital, not the traditional venture cap or a micro VC. They tend to prefer a CCP simply because it's at the end of the day, though the nature is hybrid, but it's treated as a sort of a loan, right, which has to be treated repaid at a particular point of time in case the agreement says so. So you must understand that compulsorily it has to be converted into a sort of equity.